You know what? Last week I was disappointed in you. This week, I'm pissed.
What?
Welcome to the Rowdy.com Big Three, sitting alongside Buck Fever. I'm Bass Masters. Jerome Buzz Cutler is the voice from beyond, and we've got a lot to talk about after yesterday's Aaron's $4.99 at Talladega, which did go longer than $4.99. We had a triple overtime finish, the first in the history of NASCAR.
And clearly, Kevin Harvick was watching our preview video because he pulled the exact same move that Buck and I demonstrated. Yet, did he give us credit in victory lane?
No. He claimed that he figured it all out in practice. But come on, he had to have watched Friday's Big Three, wherein even at Talladega, during the bump draft, you can loosen a guy up and get underneath him. I thought, Buck, that it wasn't clear from the comments in the post-race from either Jamie or Kevin. Kevin said Jamie kind of went to the right, and I went to the left. And Jamie said, I thought I had the bottom protected. Neither guy said that the 29 actually hit the one. But didn't it look like that?
It did look like it. I mean, because he was right on his patukas.
I mean, he was obviously hitting him, but I wondered if he loosened him just enough.
There's no such word as patukas.
I can't use the word ass on the video. So
you can say took us.
He was right on his hook us, and I got to admit that I know the slingshot move is possible. I sat there and watched. I thought, there's no way he's going to do it, and he did it, and it was just a
Remember
great
this
move.
too: the finish line at Talladega is at the end of the tri-oval, which gave Kevin. I mean, he needed every single inch of room, and he timed it perfectly.
He did.
To end, by the way, a 115 race winless streak. The last race he won the Daytona 500. Then he gets this done at Talladega. Shortened the race, too, is another thing you got to remember. Rode in the back until 50 to go. Essentially the four corners of NASCAR, and it worked out perfectly.
Is Jimmy leaving Jeff, or is Jeff leaving Jimmy? Is this the end of their relationship?
They have been broken up for years. Jimmy is not invited on 24 Karat in the offseason. They are not friends. They are PIST mad. They're over.
I think Jeff is the one that's PIST livid about this because he had a good run coming down the, I think it was the backstretch, and Jimmy tried to get over there and block him too late. I don't even know if Jimmy was trying to block. He didn't say he was trying to block, but there's really no other explanation for turning your wheel to the left like that. Jeff had to get out of the gas. Now, that didn't wreck Jeff, but it put him back in the pack where he got wrecked when Jeff Burton maybe miscalculated a little bit or something happened between Burton and Bliss. I think that Gordon feels that Jimmy is taking liberties with him, and Jeff Gordon's not going to put up with it. He's just not. Either he didn't know he was there, okay, which is possible, or he made his move to block way too late. Yeah. But again, I think it's important to say what Ryan Newman said afterwards. Yeah, you could call it a mistake, but come on, everyone can.
Well, let's talk about that because that's issue number 3. Michael Waltrip pretty much called out Kyle Busch for driving, let's just say poorly, but in a very similar incident, Ryan Newman was very generous towards Joey Logano. Which of those guys do you think was right with their perspective? You think Kyle Busch screwed up, or do you think in a very similar move it was just good hard racing?
I got a tiebreaker. On the podcast for the race, the Sunday show, we had Tony Stewart who said, hey, listen, man, it's the kind of racing where two guys can get into each other, not even make a mistake and cause the big one. So I'm going to go ahead and agree with Ryan Newman. I don't think Kyle Busch, yes, he made the mistake, but it happens. It happens so frequently that you can't necessarily just go beat him up about it.
I think there are blatant mistakes here at times, but to me, if you're bump drafting around the entire racetrack, which guys are, Newman said about Logano, hey, he was pushing me around and he just pushed me in the wrong spot, and frankly, I would have been doing the same thing to him. So it's kind of the thing where it could happen to anybody. You look at Jimmy Johnson's miscalculation coming up on Greg Biffle. Could happen to anybody. You look at Jeff Burton and Mike Bliss. It almost looked as though Burton maybe miscalculated a little bit, although that was less clear, I think, than the Johnson-Biffle incident. So I just think if you're a human being in these race cars in these conditions, you're going to have wrecks. And one more thing. The green-white checker 2-lap shootout at Talladega is practically guaranteed to produce a wreck. Don't you have to consider
longer, you say?
Different overtime formats for different racetracks? Just throwing it out there. Not that it wasn't an exciting finish, because it certainly was, but it practically guaranteed a wreck on those things. But I'm still pissed at you. All right, that has been your Rowdy.com Big Three for today. For Buck Fever, I'm Bass Masters. Thank you, Jerome Buzz Cutler.
Thank you, Buzz.
For today's questions, do join us at Rowdy.com to discuss the whole thing. There absolutely is a ton to talk about after this fantastic race.
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.